Contractor with presenter Aline Cross. There's a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone will be in listen-only mode, so if you have questions, please type them into the questions box on your screen, and we will address them at the end of the session. This webinar will be recorded, and we will email a copy out to everyone within a few days. I will now turn it over to you, Aline.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to introduce Sage Intelligence Reporting and how it works with Sage 100 Contractor today. Our agenda today is going to be what is Sage Business Intelligence. We're going to talk about what business intelligence is in general and how it relates to Sage Intelligence and how they integrate with Sage 100 Contractor. Then we're going to take a look at the modules that come with the program and some examples of reports. And we'll follow up with any questions you may have when we're done. So what is Sage Intelligence Reporting? Business intelligence is the skills, technology, applications, and practices that you're using in your business daily to help you better understand and gain some insight into your company. It's also the historic and current information and knowledge that's collected to make better decisions and predictions of future operations. Sage Intelligence Reporting provides a link directly from our data in the Sage 100 Contractor into Excel in order to extract and manipulate our most current data into user-friendly reports to support our decision-making. Now, how does it work together? It's very easy. It's a one-step link to download and install it. It connects directly from your Sage data folders into Sage Intelligence. You can also link multiple databases. So if you have more than one database, you can connect to one, but you can link all the others to consolidate information for reporting. It runs the data directly out into an Excel spreadsheet where you can manipulate it. The information flow is one way. It comes from Sage out into your Excel. So you can manipulate the reports, make them look the way you want. But even if you change data, it's not going to come back and harm your data that's already in your Sage. This is a little example of a little flow chart of how it works. You have your database. It flows in through the connector that comes with Sage Intelligence, goes through the report manager into your Excel workbook. Out here, you do your report design. You change some layouts, generate. You can also distribute it to anyone that you feel would need the report. You save it in Excel back into your report manager where it saves all those formats and any information so that the next time you run the report, you don't have to make any modifications. You can just run it right out, looking the way you want it to look. The components that are included with Sage Intelligence are the connector, and this is where it shows your database file, and you log in with your same username as you would for your Sage 100. This has your report repository where your reports that you create are saved, and they're saved in your MB7 folder. The report viewer connects you so that you can view all the reports that are available, and you can offer people views of reports without them being able to modify them. We have your license manager, which is where your licenses are stored, and then your security manager. You can create your security right here. You can add users. You can create new roles. It's very easy. You can just add a role. And you can create a bunch of users and add them to the different roles that you want them to have. Once you add a user to a role, you can give them permissions to view reports, and you can also give them permissions to edit reports. So the security manager is very easy to use. The next part are the report designer and the viewer, and those are the primary components that you will be working in that we'll be showing you today. The report manager is where you can either use the existing reports that come with the system. You can push them onto Excel and modify them. When you save them back, you'll save them under your own name, or you can create your own reports. The report designer, it's part of the report manager, and it also includes a financial statement design tools and reports that give you the ability to combine your databases to consolidate your reports. So we're going to go right out and have a look at the software. So all we have to do is click right on the report manager. It's going to open up. And now here are the reports that come with the system. What you're going to notice in these reports is there are reports that in Sage 100 do not have modified, you cannot modify them. A lot of our reports you can modify right in Sage 100, but these are some of the ones that you can't. So they've used those as a starting point. When you click on one of the reports that come with it, if you want to look at your billing summary, you'll notice the ones that come with Sage Intelligence. You can run the report, but you can't modify it unless you make a copy. It's very easy. You just copy it. You can put it in the same folder. I've created a test folder, and you just paste it, and it gives you a copy. I've already created a copy, so it's not going to let me do that. But from starting with the basic ones in the system, we're just going to run it. It takes a couple minutes. It loads in. It shows you what it's gathering, all the information, where it's coming from. And then once that's done, you can open Excel. You have your little cover sheet. But here's a job cost summary report that comes directly out of that system. It gives you all of your jobs and all the costs. Now we're in a job cost summary report. So it has our top. We can create pivot charts very easily. This one has already been created for us, so it's showing us our top 5 jobs by cost to date. We can come down and we can sort and just have different, our department show. So it will sort by department for you. Or I can even break it down further into my divisions. Now you'll see all this data is all in this nice format, but that's not how it comes out of Sage. If we come down to the bottom, we can unhide the sheets, and we're going to show sheet 1. This is our raw data directly out of Sage. And it's just in columns. What they do is they create a pivot chart here to give you this information, and we can further modify the pivot chart just by opening. We'll go to the pivot tables, the analyze, and I'm showing the field list here. When I come over here, it's going to show me which columns are where. And if you're really good with pivot charts, you can create more like this one. Or you can use the standard reports that come in the system. The next sheet that it shows that's hidden are your parameters. So if you're creating your own reports in here, you're never going to use sheet 1 and sheet 2. We're going to add a third sheet, and we can rename it. And it's always recommended you start at least with sheet 3. So I can come in here, and it's very simple to create a pivot table. Now this is telling me sheet 1, it's going to get some data wherever I point it, but I want all my data, so I can simply just go to F3, which lets me select raw data. This is how I get fresh data consistently out of Sage, so it's not stagnant. We added a little extra information there. We're going to move that to an existing worksheet. So my location, I'm going to select my sheet 3, and I'm just going to put my mouse there. And now it's giving me the option to build my own pivot chart. And I can do it in a table. I can create a chart. So if we just want to add maybe the job name, if we want to show what department it comes from, we can add that. We can add our new budget, and we can add our costs. And we can simply modify these. And as I said, if you're very familiar with pivot tables, there's so much you can do here. We can format them. We can come up to our row labels, and we can give values. If we only want to show our top 5, we can just change that to 5. So now we're only showing our top 5 jobs. We can format our columns just like you would in Sage. In Excel. Give some dollars. We can add some colors. We can change names. It's all modifiable. Now the thing about this is once you've modified it to the way you want it, you can actually come back here and you can save it as an Excel template. Now it's going to tell me that it's placing the perimeters, and I'm just going to yes through these. It's asking me if I want to specify the template name. Do I want the option to switch off my pivot tables? Yes. And do I want to replace it? So now that's replaced my copy over here. Or not, because I didn't finish the questions. So now it's successfully linked. So now when I come back in here to run this report again, when I hit run, it's going to load it exactly the same way as I saved it in that template. It's going to gather all the data again. And as I said, we have a lot of reports here that you would not normally be able to modify or extract certain data from. So here's our report again. Came back out. There's my sheet 3. My perimeter is still here. It still has the main report that came with it. So now if I want this report to go out to other people, I can come up to my Business Intelligence Tools button, which is right in my Excel sheet now. And I can manage some instructions. I'm going to add, let's say, a daily. So once I add a distribution instruction, it opens up so what I can enable email, I can publish it to a folder, or I can send it to an FTP site. So maybe I want this to go out to somebody's email. I would add the subject, their daily report so they can see their costs, and my file name is just my summary. I also can make the value static, and I can distribute each worksheet if it's multiple worksheets as separate documents. But I'm just going to go ahead and send that. Once that comes in, it can go out to as many people as you want on the list. So if you have a report you want to send out daily. And again, these are also modifiable. If we come back to our pivot charts, we can change it. And we can turn it into a pie chart. And we can make a nice desktop. That one kind of came out pretty, didn't it? You can rearrange these so I can have my data next to there. I could move this one down. I can come out and insert a logo just as I would in any other document. So I can create a nice desktop version. Now I'm going to show you a few other reports that are available. We have an over-under billing report. And I'm just going to run the ones that come through the system here to give you an idea of what's available in here. Our over-under billing report in Sage 100 is a nice report, but you can't move things or change things around. But in here you can actually move columns and take information out. And again, we have our report cover. And one thing you can do is, if you don't want to show your home page, just hide it with the rest of the documents. And again, if we unhide, we have our sheet 1, which is our raw data. And then we have the nice report that they put together for us. And it shows all our information on our jobs. It gives us our top 5 jobs by gross profit. And again, I can come over and analyze, add my field list, and I can rearrange some of these columns, or I can take some of them out if I wanted to. So it gives me just the information that I want to see. I'm not going to save that one. Now, once I've saved one of their reports to my file, it opens up some properties, because when I'm on the reports that come with the system, all I can see is that I have to make a copy if I'm going to manipulate it. So once I've made a copy, it allows me to see the properties of the document. I can show some advanced ones, and right there it's showing me that the parameters are on the second sheet. And I'm going to hide the source data. It also shows me what columns are included, and these columns come from containers that actually come from Sage 100, are actual reports there. These are the containers in there. It also gives me parameters if there are some available. Now, in the summary report there aren't, but if I were to go to, this is the AR aging report, it's got parameters in here so that I can add to them. I can change my aging date. Gives me some defaults to choose from, so I can age from these dates. And as I run this report, I also have the opportunity to change which month. So right now I have it in June, but I've added it again. To remove it, I can just remove one. And it's that easy to add your parameters. The same with the columns. If I want to remove some of these columns, I can just take them out. I can also say I want my department in the top. I can move it right up and rearrange so that my department shows first. I can take my company name out because I don't need my company name to show on every line. So you can sort it right in these columns. Now to get these columns into your report, I can add a report. Now I have all these that come with it. I can modify all these that come with the system. I can also create my own. I come out here in any folder and I can just add a report. We have two choices of reporting types. A standard report is just that one report. A union report is going to take multiple containers and make a joint report. And that works good, like with your financial reports, you might have to pull from different areas. Right now we're just going to do a basic standard report, and we'll name it these are the containers that I was talking about. From Sage 100, all of our reports have all the columns that come with it, or those fields. So if I wanted to create a committed cost report or a job summary report or job status report, we'll create the job status report. It gives me the choice of which columns I want to pull in. I can pull them all in, or I can just select the ones I want. I may not need all these columns because I know I already have access to that full report with the system. So maybe I just want to customize it a little bit for myself. I'm going to choose my job name and number. Maybe I want to know my period costs only, my period billed. Maybe I want my current budget, including changes. So now that I've created it, I have to put it right in my test folder because that's the folder I created it in. It shows me the columns that I've selected. And even if I choose now to change these columns, I can come right over here and add or delete more. There are no parameters in this report, so I don't have to worry about it. So we'll just click back on that and run it out. And I got a syntax error, which usually means there's parameters. So let's add one. So I want to select my period. And I can come out and we'll pick June. And I can also pick my year. I have 2 years of data here, but I don't want 2014. So I want to make sure that it's always going to pull 2015 for me. So now we'll come back over and we'll run that report. It's asking me again. Now at this point I can change my period if I want to. But because we're after June, I'm going to just leave it in June. And again, it's just my raw data pulling out. At this point now I can customize and make my report look any way I want with my pivot charts. Or I can present it. But again, sheet 1 is my raw data. Sheet 2 is always going to be my parameters. And sheet 3 is where I can just create any type of display I want to. That's kind of a really quick overview. There are a lot of other choices of reports. There's a lot of details that you can extract and modify. But what I'd like to do right now is just see if there are any questions.
There's none so far.
None? Do you want to see anything more in the software? Or there? No?
Nothing.
Okay. Then this again is just a snapshot of the menu that comes up, and there are standard reports that come with the program. And if there are no questions, then we want to thank you for attending. And I'll turn it over to Krista.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for attending. If you do decide you have questions later, you can always email us at the contact information above. And you'll also get a downloadable copy of the webinar within the next day or so. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.